What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the BlitzCity Podcast, and I want to talk about 3 of my biggest takeaways from Texas Southern versus Jackson State in that game. Before I do, though, please keep in mind that from every Friday on out, we will be doing FBS Fridays. So tune into that if you are a fan of FBS football. Also, I just did an interview with 4-star wide receiver Jackson State commit Robert Lockhart III, aka SRT. Just a couple of hours ago. So if you missed that, go check that out, because at the end, I also gave my opinions on the game as well in there. But for those of you who haven't seen it, I'm officially making this video. So my first takeaway, and this should not be a long video in any sense. My first takeaway though, Sivion Wilkerson has undoubtedly made himself an NFL prospect. And even if you didn't believe, whether you did or did not believe that he was that already after his first year at Delaware State, you know now. It's solidified now. He's a bell cow. He's a workhorse. What can't I say about this kid's game? I mean, the plays that he's made, the tackles that he's broken, granted, and I said this during my pregame video of Texas Southern and Jackson State. Give Sivion the ball, because Texas Southern is very bad against the run. As a matter of fact, they've given up 1,600 yards on the season, 5.5 yards a carry, 16 rushing touchdowns, and 211 rushing yards per game. I told y'all that in the previous video, right? And this was before Jackson State. Now, you come into this game, you do a great job in feeding Sivion like I said you should have done, 26 to 28 carries. He was somewhere in between that. He finished with well over 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he averaged 8 yards a carry. And he made himself look like an absolute monster who could not be stopped while doing so. Sivion Wilkerson is an NFL back. He's an NFL talent. And the great thing about this is this kid still has 2 to 3 years left of eligibility. And I'm only saying 2 to 3 years because I don't know exactly how much he has left. But I imagine it's 2 years that he has left for Jackson State. Imagine what he can do in that time. Imagine how great his stock can get in that time. My second takeaway, we all know Travis is pretty much shut down at cornerback. He's going to shut down one side of the field. He's done it since he's returned. Every time he's been on the field for Jackson State, nobody has been able to complete a pass on him. He's given up one versus Campbell, but he was back way far off. Other than that, he's given up no catches. Offensively, though, I would like to see more of him. I'm going to be honest with you, because the plays that he made this weekend are Sports Center worthy. That, you all know what play I'm talking about in particular. That's instinct. Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot teach that. You cannot teach the gifts that Travis Hunter has. And I think as great as he is on defense, because again, he does not give up catches, I think him on offense with a little bit more carries, not a lot more, because you don't want to break the camel's back, right? But just a little bit more, I think he would make you even that much more unstoppable. He's making these plays now, in between getting taken out like for 1 or 2 plays on offense, because he's a great athlete. But we all know it's hard to consistently make big time plays on offense when you get in and out, when you're in for 2 plays and then you go back out, because there's a rhythm that needs to take place. But Travis is such a great athlete that he can bypass that for the most part. And again, I love how they're progressing Travis along, right? I love that they're not throwing the whole load of the workload at him. The more he keeps getting offensive reps in the games, you're going to see him make a lot more plays. Get used to it. This is going to be a thing for the next 2 to 3 years. Also, my third and final takeaway. From the looks of it, and I'm going to knock on wood right now because I don't want to jinx anything. It looks like nobody's stopping Jackson State at this point, even in the MEAC. It's looking like, they'll see North Carolina Central. So we'll get that matchup. But it looks like nobody's going to stop them. Nobody. I mean, the second best team in the SWAC is FAMU, by far, because nobody's beaten FAMU either. Nobody in the SWAC other than Jackson State. And Jackson State beat them 59-3. It looks like nobody's going to stop them. All these guys have to do is just stay focused and they'll be Celebration Bowl champions. As a matter of fact, it looks like I need to go ahead and book my ticket to Atlanta, but you can't look ahead. You can't look that far ahead. You still got games left in the season. You still got to win the SWAC championship. Those are my 3 takeaways. Also, let me add this in. The defense played a little uncharacteristic. Even though they still only giving up 14 points, you got to admit they had some key losses during this game. It's a nugget, so you do take that into account. But they did play uncharacteristically, and this is why I say depth is so important, because a lot of you guys during the offseason, you did not like that Jackson State was getting corner after corner or receiver after receiver, but you see now why it's important, because injuries this late in the season without any quality backup could really hurt you. And you see that even though Jackson State, they gave up 14 points, they still were a dominant defense because of those guys that they have waiting behind the starters who are just as good and would be starters on somebody else's team. This is the importance of depth. This is what I was trying to preach in the offseason to you guys. But that's all I have to say. With that being said, you're watching the BlitzCity Podcast. I'm your host, Kobe Orr, and I'm out. Peace.